Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Robinson here again. We're going to continue our Teacher Time show with a little saying that I like. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Maya Angelou. I love that little saying because I've had students from way back in the early 2000s, and now they're just 225. They still recognize me on the street, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know you would think about an old guy like me. So they tell me they like my class so much, and they really had a good time, and they'll never forget me. Reminds me of my favorite teacher, Mr. Miller. I'll never forget him either. So what are we going to do today? We're going to go over some Johnson & Johnson Cooperative Learning, getting you to know how I do it. A lot of people have asked me, how do you manage it? And the kids could be difficult when you put them in groups. So I just let them know, here are my secrets. So I'll share with you what I got. So, cooperative learning. Most people think that it's just putting kids together in small groups and letting them do whatever it is, and there's no organization to it. So the Johnson & Johnson people, back when I was coming up as a teacher in 1996, I attended a workshop where they gave us this booklet and how to do cooperative learning, and I liked it so much I made my own copyrighted booklet on cooperative learning for mathematics groups, but it can work for anything if you really want to know, for any class. So I'm going to give you some tips and rules that'll help you out organizing the groups, student jobs, and all of that. So let's get to it. So if you watched my other movie, The Orientation and Rules, that I have for my class, it will pay off very greatly if you use it as you do your group work. And my 2 rules, just a reminder: don't talk while I'm talking, and don't be late. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. I have some good information there, progress reports and all of that. I deal with that in there, so you might want to take a look at it if you haven't seen it. So that's it for tips and rules, how to get started on it. So let's get in it. Organization of the group. So how do I do it? So here's the setup. I line up all the students in the back of the room, and one thing you should notice, those kids who like to be with each other, the friends of the friends, they all line up close to each other so they can be in the same group. So they think. So watch carefully for that, because when the students are in the same group that just fool around, they'll be in their group fooling around. So you got to separate them. And I know it was very uncomfortable for these guys I'm thinking of in one of my classes to be separated, because they did not like it at all. And one of them I picked on to become a teacher leader of the class, and he was my assistant, and he did very well as a leader. So I'm hoping maybe one day he'll become a teacher and do some group work with his kids. But I lined the kids up in the back, and then I started counting, because I had 5 groups, and I just started with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those students who like to be together, they would be in different groups already. And there should be about 4 to 5 members in each group. So I know the class sizes can be big, so do the best you can with reorganizing your room. I've had groups as big as 8. But you use the system that I'm going to show you, you'll see that nobody wants to get in trouble, because in my group work, we all will swim together or sink together. So I'm telling them straight out, I do group work very differently. I know you're thinking that you got 5 sets of tables here or 6 sets of tables here for your students, and each one is their own individualized group. Not in my class. There's only one group, and we all will do good or we all will drown. So I let them know at the start, it's all for one and one for all. So we're all our group. So that's how I organize my groups, and the students now are given their responsibilities in the various sections of the room. So let's talk about the jobs that these students get. So here are the student jobs that I have, and I allow them to appoint them in their group. I usually appoint just one person, and that's the checker. The checker is the person who's pretty good in my subject area, and my subject is mathematics. So that person's job is to make sure everybody in the group knows how to do the work. Because when it's testing time at the end of the period and I'm asking questions about a handout I just gave, they better know it, because if they don't, there's going to be a problem. Not for one person, but for everybody. So it's important that they appoint a leader, somebody who's going to be trustworthy. I tell them, I said, hey, you're the leader. Everything goes through you. If there's a problem in the group, I'm not going to them. I'm going to you as the leader to make sure you have everything straight in your group. You're in charge, and they are not. They don't even get to speak to me. They have to go through you. So the leader has a burden because they're pretty much me in their group. So now that I have all these leaders, I got somebody who's responsible for checking and making sure the students understand how to do the work. And so here's some other jobs. A supply manager. That's the person who brings the extra paper, pencils, and things that the kids will need for their class, because when we get to my rules, you'll find out that's a very important job. When I was in 7th grade, I never bought books to class. All I would bring was some paper and put in my back pocket, and that was my notebook. So I depended upon the other kids or the supply manager to give me a pencil or something so I could look like I'm writing, but I was always the leader, and I did not do any work. I said, that's for you guys to do. I can sit here and sleep. So I thought. There's the runner. They run up and get the papers from the teacher because I don't give them out. I have monitors to do that now. So they get their papers, bring it back to their groups, and distribute it. They also keep the time for the group, because you only have a certain amount of time to finish your assignment, and then we go over it. They're encouragers. Everybody should be an encourager, because maybe somebody's struggling and they need to get a little confidence from somebody in the group or the whole group and say, come on, don't give up. You can do it. Let me show you the way I do this example. Then there's noise monitors. When kids are working together on a topic, sometimes it gets a little noisy, and I tell them, hey, noise monitors, do your job. It's too loud. And I give them that warning, and I say, if I have to say this again, I'm going to deduct points off your score. And by the way, there's only one grade. So everybody loses points no matter whose group is talking. So noise monitors better do a good job. That way, we use our inside voices, I remind them, and the students realize that you cannot talk so loud because sometimes another group is listening and they'll take your answer. So those are the groups members' jobs. All right, we're finished tips, rules, organizing the groups, and giving out student jobs. So, how do they earn points? Well, I got a nice long list here, and I want you to notice the point value there. Students can earn up to 10 points for doing the following. First thing, I don't bring supplies. I have them available, but it's at a cost. Everything costs points now. So if you want to borrow it from me, the teacher, I'll gladly give you your supplies. But it's going to cost your group. And remember, it's only one group. So if you borrow something from me, the whole class is penalized for your being unprepared. Well, tutoring other groups. I have some groups that are pretty fast and they finish the work so quickly. I say, well, you want to earn a few points? Go over there and help that group over there that's struggling. And I have so many kids wanting to pop up and help other groups because they finish their work so quickly. I say, sure, you can get up to 10 points. And for tutoring, I'll give 10 points. But it says up to, I may give 1 point because I don't want to give them too many points too quickly because you'll see when it's losing points. So helping me with what I need to do. Some students are very helpful and doing some of the things I need help with, like giving out papers, progress reports, and all of that stuff. So I get helpers, and I'll give them a point, the whole class a point, for somebody helping me out. Cleaning the board, closing windows, emptying the pencil sharpener at the end of class, doing extra work, learning more math vocabulary words, creating examples or exercises of new material. So you'd be surprised what the students know and bring in for mathematics. And I'm like, wow, this is very impressive. So bringing in examples of math we use in real life situations, news articles, advertisements. So sometimes we're talking about, say, percentages, and somebody will bring in a advertisement that says 10% off, Dr. Rob. And I say, hey, that's a good article. Thank you for bringing in something. We will be talking about percentages. And I'll give the class points for that student bringing in something. And then that encourages the others to look for things that they could use. Like some students see movies that have mathematics that we may do, or that has mathematics in it, and they tell me about it, and I say, that's good. Did you write a little review about the movie so I could read it to the class, or you could read it to the class about what the movie is about, so they may want to see it, and I give extra credit for that. So for the class, they get extra points. If students want to stay after school, and believe it or not, some do, I don't keep them long. I just say, I have just a couple questions. If you want to stay and answer them, you can win a prize as well as get points for your group. So I have a gang of people at my door from the other classes, and they want to stay and do work. So any other such good behaviors they want to do, they can earn points at the consultation, of course. So that's earning points. Everybody wants to earn points. Nobody wants to lose points. So how to lose points? First thing I want to turn your attention to is how much do I charge for getting a wrong answer. You give me a wrong answer when we're going over the work, it's going to cost you 100 points off your grade for each incorrect answer. Wow, 100 points, Dr. Rob? Yes, 100 points. You'll be a little bit slower with your answer and definitely want to make sure it's correct, especially if I call on the student who may have been like me, not doing the work and sleeping. So that makes the class very, very mad, and that puts so much peer pressure on and that puts so much peer pressure on the student to do well because they want their peers to gain points, not lose 100 points. So make sure you get it right. So if you are doing some things, and I don't like mentioning everything that's possible, but here are just my list of things that I don't like when they're playing around, not working together, throwing things out of their seat, talking to other group members, other groups, sorry. I'm like, you shouldn't be yelling across to another group what you want to talk about. I'll take off 100 points for each person talking, and when you see this on the board, because I'll have a student keeping the score for the class, and they're writing down the work. As I always say, show your work. That's right. You start off with 100 points, and you may lose 100 points. And then I say, how much does that equal now? 0. Can you go lower than 0, Dr. Rob? Yes, you sure can. You can get negative 200 real quick if you lose 200 and you lose 100 points a couple times. So be careful is what I'm telling the students to do. And it works great because if I see something that may not be on this list, like, I see lateness to class without a pass. Every student that comes in late without a pass, 100 points each. I had 4 students one time come in late, and the class looked, and they're like, do you guys have passes? They said, no, we came from gym. And I'm like, gym? What do you mean you came from gym? They give you a pass? And they said, no, they just told us to go to class. I said, well, you better go back to them and get a late pass because it's going to cost you guys 400 points. And I don't think the class will be too happy with that. So if you're coming in my room late, make sure you have a pass. So I don't like lateness. Standing in the doorway, dirty areas. I don't like dirt either. So if you throw something on the floor, I tell them for each piece of paper that I see on the floor, minus 100 points from the whole class. So I have a lot of interesting rules there. I even got it to the point where students will not ask me a question for the answer because I want them to do it. So they can work together with each other, and you'll see that some of them are better than teachers when it comes down to showing their friends how to do a problem. So if they want to ask me, I said, sure, I'll give you the answer, but it's going to cost you. So I talked to the leader. I said, do you want the answer? And the leader says, for how much? I said, 100 points. And the other class leaders, I asked them, I said, before I take off the 100 points, because so-and-so is asking for an answer, is there anybody who objects to that? And of course, the other students said, no, we don't want the answer, Dr. Rouse. Keep it to yourself. And they go over and help the person who's having struggles. So I tell you, peer pressure in my class works great. So if students are unprepared for class, and that happens a lot, no book, no pen, no paper, I say, I'll give you a piece of paper, minus 100 points. You need a pen or a pencil, 100 points each. No book, definitely gonna cost you 100 points. So students are always prepared. And I got any other such behaviors in there, whatever I left out. So if I don't like it, I'll just take off 100 points for my trouble. So that's losing points. How do they know their grade? I have a spreadsheet, and I have 5 classes, period 2, 3, 4, 7, and 8. And I have the score for each day written on the board, because every day they start with 100 and they can work their way up or down. So I record the scores every day, or have a student record their class in my spreadsheet, and at the end of the marking period, we see what their average is, and I'm saying, hey, you did great, because I see down there 210 points, period 4 got, and in the third week of the marking period, and I'm like, that's pretty good. So when they see they can get that many points for their grade, and I'm talking classwork, they say, hey, there's something to this. If my grade is going to be up like that, what's the average? I show them the average for their whole class. The whole class gets the same grade. Unless there's one kid, because I notice sometimes some people are squeamish and don't want to do the group work. I say, hey, okay, you can go over there and sit at the table over there, and it's all isolated, and you can be a group of one, but just remember, you're responsible for all the work, answering all the questions, and they're like, they think about it and realize that maybe it'd be better to get a group. So that person usually conforms very quickly, especially when they see they're losing points. I'm looking here, I see somebody minus 400 points, and it's not a good way to end the day from my period 4 class. So there are the grades. So what else have we got? Oh, this should be a two-part lesson, because there's a whole lot. So how do we get rewards? All right. You can earn some of the rewards by answering questions correctly. I do give out a lot of prizes for the groups. So here you can see them: candy, cookies, free computer time, free lunch and snack. I'll come to the lunchroom and eat with them and buy their lunch and buy their snack. I give them math prep video choices they can watch, extra points on their grade average, award certificates, computer math video time, and other such rewards after consultation. Invitations. What's an invitation? We have a program called Alex, and our students are required to do it each night for computer homework practice in our various subjects. And I have the printout from my classes of who does it and who does not do their Alex assignment. So I try to encourage the students by doing as much as you can. The students that have the highest amount of Alex time logged in and they completed so many lessons, I give them a invitation, because they're invited to my party that I give twice a year, at the middle of the year and at the end of the year. So they're invited to our party. Awards. I give Student of the Month awards, and I like to recognize students not only on an annual basis but also a monthly basis, because who wants to wait at the end of the year to get an award when they've been doing such a good job? Plus, sometimes at the end of the year you're cramped up with tests, final exams, and all of that stuff, and state tests, and it's just too much. Whereas maybe in the beginning or earlier in the term you were doing good, and it should be recognized. So I do give awards, Student of the Month, and I buy special paper, certificate paper, and print on my printer, and there you go. So I try to give as many students that in different months, usually a boy and a girl, I try to recognize. So that's it for awards. Oh, so I actually finished this movie. Oh, boy, I'm sorry I talked so long, because I don't like boring people. Because I let the students do the talking, and you should see it. I've had the administrators come to my class with teachers who want to see this because they like, you don't believe what's going on in Dr. Rob's room. The students are quiet, they're working together. I made a video of it, and I show it off sometimes at the beginning of the year to let them know this is how you should be acting, and you should be using your inner voices, and the kids are cooperating, and then when it's test time, that's when it gets really, really fun because they want to earn points. They don't want to lose points, because when you lose 100 points, that hurts. It's hard to get back up. When I play extra credit time, they earn points for answering right, but if you answer wrong, minus 100. But it's extra credit time, Dr. Rob. That's not fair. I said, no, I don't like wrong answers. If you're going to answer, make sure it's right. Check with your checker. So the kids have a good time in my class. I know I do, because nobody wants to do anything wrong to cost the other kids problems. Now, with this pressure that it puts on the kids, and it's one for all and all for one, you could get some feedback from some kids that are like, I don't think it's fair. Why should I be punished for him? I know the work. And you have to clear that with your administrator, so let them know what you're doing. And as I said, I've been doing this since 1996 and trying to perfect it ever since. And I think I've pretty much got it down to the point where I've even had the superintendent, the new superintendent, come in my room with a whole bunch of people. I do it in Spanish, and they're like, how does he do all this? And, what did he teach the kids to act that way? So, cooperative learning. Thank you, Johnson & Johnson, for teaching me how to do it and just allowing me to refine it so I could help my students do even better. So, check out my YouTube channel. My channel name is Dan Robinson, PKMS, Peak Skill Middle School. And subscribe to my channel, because I'll be getting together some more videos on how do I do things. So hopefully you'll watch and subscribe. Hit that bell for the next video that comes out. So check out my PKMS, Peak Skill Middle School Math Prep 21. I got 22. That was the last one we made before I retired. And you'll see that some of the nice things we do is unbelievable, that you have students doing all that work. Sometimes the administrators will come in and quiz my kids, and I say, okay, if you get it wrong, minus 100. And the administrators are giving some hard questions, but I have students in there who'll step up and answer it correctly, and I say, congratulations, I'm going to give you 50 points. Not 100, Dr. Rob? Nope, 50 points. I can't count up that high. So I have a good time with it. And they do too. They just don't want to lose points. They want to gain points. So check out our Math Time show on Tuesdays from 4:30 to 5 p.m. on Optimum Cablevision Channel 15, but it's only in Peak Skill. If you want some more information on what I've been talking about, write me at robinsonmath@aol.com, and I'll send you some stuff. So I hope you enjoyed our Teacher Time show, Cooperative Learning. So hopefully I'll see you next time, or look for me on YouTube and you'll see the video. Take care.